Shall we talk cliches for a minute as we go into this Aston Villa game? Critical 10 days here for Liverpool. Absolutely. But it's not up to you too late to tell us, news media. You should have been telling us this weeks ago. But no, you want us to live in the moment. You want us to panic. You want us to worry that this might not go well. You want us to follow your stupid narrative rather than making our own. And at this point, cliche is a lot of what is surrounding Liverpool in terms of the news right now. I spoke about it the other day on the channel. I spoke about the frustration that I have with the way that people tell stories around Liverpool, with the still very London-based media that don't want Liverpool to win a title. Now, clearly, obviously, there are lots of people that want Liverpool to win a title in the media, so conspiracy theories like that really are crazy talk. But as we go into this Villa game, it's looking pretty tasty, guys. Villa are a very good side. And even though they drew their last game against Ipswich, even though we beat them earlier on in the season, and believe me, they've done some good results this season, especially not only against, City, Arsenal, other sides as well, like Munich. This side is very deep. Like, this Villa team, despite the injuries they have, Anana's out, Powell's out, there's plenty of big names, people who earlier on in the season you would have gone, wow, that could shape their season. They still have a great team and they still have a great manager, and a manager who's really good at tactical insight to undermine whatever system it is that he's playing. I was there for the Villa Park game last season, and I'll be there again for the Villa Park game this season. And there is a nasty atmosphere there. Not as in I don't like these people. I very much like the people of Birmingham, even if a lot of the people of Birmingham don't like Scousers, right? But they like me because they think I'm from the South. And that's where oh, he's doing well for himself, isn't he? Oh, where'd all that money come from, huh? Anyway, I don't know why I turned into a housewife. Anyway, the point is, Villa good side. It's a place that they think they can punch up. It's a place that is hard to go to. It's cliche, right? And at the moment, they're going to be a side who want to get a result against Liverpool, because when you look at that front three, boy, despite Arne Slot trying to the best of his ability to dull some of the skills that they have in that front line by saying, I think they're good. I just don't want them to perform against us. A starting lineup of Asensio, Rashford, and Ollie Watkins through the middle is a scary backline to face Liverpool. After facing that Everton side where they had a very mobile front line of Beto and then whatever wingers were serving him, straight through the middle with Ollie Watkins kind of works against us. Out on the wing, Rashford, I don't know, we'll see about Rashford. Rashford playing up against Konate could actually be quite an interesting combination. But Rashford versus our back line, Rashford versus Trent, probably Trent in this particular scenario, worries me a little. And then Asensio, or whoever it is they choose to play out on that wing against Robertson or Tsimikas, kind of worries me a little bit. And then not only that, but their midfield, they're able to pack it. They're able to put a bunch of players in there who are willing to put a foot in on Szoboszlai, on McAllister, people who will go down the best way to play us. And the referees in recent games, I've got to be honest, haven't exactly refereed in our favour. There have been a lot of times where I felt there have been pretty borderline decisions that have gone against us. And that's not me saying, therefore, there's some sort of conspiracy. Far from it, actually. I think it goes the opposite way. I just think it's actually that the way that we play is currently not necessarily refereed in the most kind way, because it is so intense, because we do put legs across people, because they are trying to stop us from being the kind of team that we are right now, because it's hard to referee that. It's hard to referee that kind of team. It's hard to referee that kind of style. They want clear fouls. They don't want to have to go to VAR, all these kind of things. And now our relationship, frankly, with referees really isn't that great. The Everton game probably did degrade what was a relatively poor relationship already with referees. And then the last game as well, I think Wolves, we can't really complain about the ref in that game, but I don't think it was like a great game, put it that way. And then there are a bunch of people afterwards putting pressure. Again, referees chronically live on social media. So again, they'll be reading this stuff on social media and feeling the pressure. There are people putting pressure on the referees to have sent Konate off, or to have given another card to another Liverpool player, or to have refereed it more harshly against Liverpool, or to not have given the penalty for Liverpool, despite the fact that they did overturn it. It didn't go in the net, and it was a clear and wrong decision. Again, social media is gonna social media. But what that does is it whips up a narrative that wholly goes against this Liverpool team right now. And actually, the Liverpool side internally feel pretty good. They're not the ones living on social media so much. Even though Konate retweeted a clip from me a week ago with Mark Goldbridge, even though there are multiple players who view multiple people's stories and talk to plenty of people who are on YouTube and social media in general, the players aren't living in the same way as we are online. And they aren't seeing all of those same comments in the same way as we are online. And so the air around the team is very much one of, especially with Virgil van Dijk, buckle up, guys. Enjoy the ride. And I've got to say, I've made a few videos in the last few days and people have been on the same page with me. So when we go to Villa Park, great ground to go to, historic ground to go to. We don't go there thinking, obviously there is a bit of confidence issue at the moment. We don't go there thinking, oh wait, what if we lose this? That'll only be these amount of points. It doesn't, the points isn't the worry here, guys. The points gap is not the worry. The aim is to get to the league title, not look over your shoulder and worry about Arsenal, not worry about the outside pressures which are currently imposing themselves on the team. Outside of that, of course, whilst we don't have injuries, I do think we have a couple of players who are looking a little leggy. There are a couple of players who maybe have made some poor decisions in the last game. There are also a couple of players, by the way, who have really hooked things up. Szoboszlai, I think, has looked great. I think McAllister's looked really bright. I think Gravenberch has been very consistent, though very often, again, our midfield has a couple of times just not done the thing that they need to, or has been just tricked by a world-class player like Cunha. Of course, borderline decisions or borderline moments where it's like, you know, Jarell Quansah gets in the way of someone, that's not portrayed as good centre backing. That's portrayed as Liverpool were lucky. They were if John Terry does that, John Terry is a hero from here to the King's Road. The King's Road is the opposite side of London, guys. And that's my point here. Like, the way that the story is being told right now is not going to favour us. So if we win against Villa, it's not going to be about the win against Villa. It's going to be about 1 out of 3 down. It's going to be about, oh, well, they've got 3 points, but if they end up with 5 from this run, then it's somehow a failure. Failure, guys, is starting a season and finishing lower than the 10th place. That is failure. That's Manchester United right now. Failure this season is doing whatever it is that Man City are doing, even if they get through against Real Madrid tonight. Failure this season is not capitalising on your opposition being poor. And Liverpool are currently living in a place where we never expected to be in the first place. So being grateful to be here, enjoying the ride is the minimum that we should do. We could talk matchups for a second because I did find the last game of Villa's quite instructive and I do think it's probably quite an interesting one to look at. Let me just bring up Aston Villa. Let me just bring it all up because I'm on the wrong day. Right day. Now, okay, ready? Liverpool versus Villa this evening. My expected starting lineup, especially for Villa, and I think Villa are a fairly interesting side at the moment. Obviously, Martinez. Expect Martinez to have an absolutely fantastic game against Liverpool. He's had a couple of poor games, so expect him to have a fantastic one. Garcia to start right back. Digne to start left back. Mings and Disasi to start in the middle. That's a fairly formidable middle line there, guys. McGinn and Tielemans to start in the midfield. That's a very combative midfield against ours. But again, it's a 2. The front 3 will be Asensio, Watkins and Rashford. But the real worry, and the person that I kind of left to the end of this part of the review, is Morgan Rogers. Rogers, similar to where Cunha got his goal from the other day, loves to operate in that area, loves to run into that space, loves to ghost in there, loves to carry the ball. There are plenty of different ways that Rogers has made his game effective for Villa this season, or Villa have made his game effective for him. He worries me a little bit in this match, right? I'm not saying start Endo, but I am saying in a game like this, say Liverpool do get a goal or they get 2, they get a little bit ahead, bring Endo on. Bring on someone who's going to negate whatever it is that their best players do, is willing to get the yellows, is willing to put in those silly tackles, is willing to even give away some free kicks on the edge of the box, all those kind of things, right? That's what we did the other night against Wolves, and he turned out to be our man of the match. Now, it was obviously an honorary man of the match rather than an actual man of the match performance, but it spoke to something that I think Liverpool fans are asking this Liverpool team to be at the moment, which is just chill. Do you know what I'm saying? Just chill a little, guys. They're just saying, when we are ahead, sit on that. Don't let the other team back into it, because Wolves played their way back into this game, and Villa at Villa Park will be very willing to play their way back into it. My starting 11 for Liverpool, you ask? Fair enough, I'll bring it up. In goal, Alisson. If this is the last couple of games that we see Alisson in goal, all I want to do is watch that man be as beautiful and majestic as he is out on the field. As what Alisson is the perfect melding of traditional goalkeeping, so the size, the alpha, the imposing presence, mixed with slightly off-kilter weird things that sometimes he does that you're not quite sure why, but you still love. And from day one, he's been that at Liverpool. From day one, I remember the little, was it Leicester he did it against? We did the cut back and it went wrong and everyone was like, he's rubbish. Far from it, mate. Alisson in recent games has been great for us. He's put in some game-winning saves, and his presence in the box means that very often people have to put it on a postage stamp in order to get it in, and that's almost where Cunha got it just the other night, right? He sort of stroked it in, but it was sort of a frustrating one. It annoyed me a bit because he'd sort of gone around two players that probably could have blocked it, and I think they will have learned from that, hopefully anyway. Back line, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Konate, Virgil van Dijk. I'm going to go Robertson at left back, frankly. I think Tsimikas has been good, but I think in a game like this, you want the experience of Robertson. You want someone who is very good at dealing with atmospheres. Centre midfield, obviously it's our midfield three, Szoboszlai, McAllister and Gravenberch. And then of course up front, I'm going to go, and I think this is an interesting one. Obviously Gakpo's out for this one along with Joe Gomez. I'm going to go Diaz starting on the left, Jota starting through the middle because Diogo Jota, and now he's back. I feel like we have to play him. I feel like he was a much better option in that last game. I'll do a whole different Darwin Núñez video, guys. And obviously Mo Salah on the right. It's a frustrating time because we feel like there are dissenting voices. We say Scouse not English for a reason. We have dissenting voices against us for a reason. It's because this team have been really good, because they are currently having the portrayal of the new manager bounce, which I did sort of talk about at the time, being the only thing they have. But a new manager bounce in a favourable period, a time where players really enjoy the new system and enjoy the freedom of whatever it is and the change between Slot and Klopp, is not defining of just one era at a team. It's the beginning of an era. It's not, oh, they had the new manager bounce and now Slot's rubbish. That's not the way it works, guys. Especially considering that even now that people think Slot's rubbish, it's actually down to a series of factors and the, should we say, frustration of moving into the second half of the season with other people. The only way we know how to win a Premier League title in the modern era is to absolutely sprint it. And this isn't that same, it is turning into a sprint, but it isn't that same sprint. Slot historically does better in the second half of the season. If that's the case, it's time for us to see it in this game, guys. Slot, Arne, I very much have faith in you. We have to show that faith now, because there are all these things about whether we'll bring in a new striker, Isak, whatever it is. None of those things are going to help someone like Darwin Núñez as a player. None of those things are going to help any of our players in achieving the goals that we want, in saying, I don't think he'll be here next season. It's good. It's a good discussion to have, all right? But I think when we get to the games, double down on these players. Núñez is our guy, you know? Isak might at some point be. I doubt it, but he might be at some point, right? It's time to double down on this team, guys. We love these guys. They've got us in this position in the first place. So don't renege on that promise you made them at the start of the season, because there's a reason we've conquered all of Europe. We're never going to stop. From Liverpool down to Aston. Anyway, I'm not going to... God, that would have been embarrassing for a minute if I'd broken into full song, wouldn't it? Anyway, if you're in Birmingham, hit me up. I'll come say hi. I'd love to see you. And I'll chat to you in a while. Much love. Bye.